Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
US President Donald Trump has urged lawmakers in his own party to vote to release files related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Trump wrote on Sunday night that Republicans in the House of Representatives should do so because we have nothing to hide. It is a striking reversal for Mr. Trump after weeks of saying the clamour for a vote on the release was a Democratic-driven distraction. There has been a slow drip feed of documents concerning the disgraced financier by House Democrats, some of which reference Trump, who has always denied any link to Epstein's sex abuse and trafficking.
They're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
Vital supplies of US liquefied natural gas are due to start flowing into war-ravaged Ukraine this winter via a pipeline across the Balkans. The deal was announced after Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky met Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis in Athens on Sunday. Greece is working to increase the flow of American LNG to its terminals to replace Russian gas in the region. The European Commission plans to ban all imports of Russian gas to EU member states by the end of 2027, arguing revenue from such sales funds Russia's war in Ukraine. In Ukraine, which experiences freezing winters, there are fears of an energy crisis as Russia attacks energy facilities. Chile's presidential election will go to a runoff vote in December between a Communist Party and a far-right candidate after the first round on Sunday produced no outright winner. The election campaign was dominated by crime and immigration, as migration to the country has grown in recent years and candidates pledged to fight foreign gangs like Venezuela's Tren de Aragua. The Communist Party's Jeanette Jara from the governing coalition narrowly won the first round, followed closely by the far-right candidate Jose Antonio Cast. The result is expected to give a boost to Cast, as Jara was the only left-wing candidate running against several right-wing candidates, which split the right-wing vote. Authorities say a man has been arrested in connection with a deadly car bomb attack that killed 8 people and wounded 20 others in Delhi last week. The National Investigation Agency said the car used in the attack, which the government has called a terrorist incident, was registered in the arrested suspect's name. They have accused him of conspiring with the alleged suicide bomber. The suspect was a resident of Indian-administered Kashmir, authorities say. The explosion happened near a metro station close to Red Fort, one of Delhi's most high-profile landmarks. At least 120 people, 100 of them police officers, have been injured in clashes during anti-government protests in Mexico City. Thousands of demonstrators marched in the Mexican capital on Saturday to protest against violent crime and President Claudia Sheinbaum's government. Sheinbaum said the marches, which also took place in other cities, had been funded by right-wing politicians who oppose her government. The rally was organised by Gen Z youth groups, drawing support from citizens protesting against high-profile killings, including the assassination just weeks ago of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo, who had called for tough action against drug cartels. A mud volcano has erupted in Taiwan, spewing water with sediments and gas. Video shows locals enjoying the spectacle by throwing flaming rags into the volcano, which sets alight the methane gas emitted during the eruption. The Wandman mud volcano is a particularly unusual example of the geological phenomenon. The mud volcano has erupted 11 times in 3 years. And an airport in the Japanese city of Hanamaki temporarily suspended flights on Wednesday after a bear wandered onto its grounds. The animal was spotted on the tarmac at 1 p.m. local time, halting flights for more than an hour. Human encounters with bears have reached record levels in Japan. 13 people have been killed by bears this year, while more than 200 have been wounded. The incidents have prompted authorities to deploy troops to hunt bears and help stop the attacks.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.